Hello and welcome to this edition of the Motivated Live Show. I'm Mark Terrell from the Reluctant Leader Academy, and this is a series of 7 videos around the 7 steps in the M.E.A.S.U.R.E program as described and written about in my book, which I'm very excited to receive my first printed copy today. So today is about that 4th step, which is S for Systemize. So Systemize is what we're going to talk about today. And it's probably one of the underestimated points of a business where people don't pay enough attention to systemizing their business. In the chapter in the book, I talk a lot about how we systemized our retail business and how that made such a massive difference to our efficiency and how that we grew the business. So systemizing is really important in that if we think about organizations that we know well, who actually has good systems in their business? Well, one that you probably know about, the Golden Arches, the McDonald's, that business is a systemized business. Everything is systemized. Everything has a way of doing something to the nth degree. So probably not thinking about going quite to that degree, but if we don't bring in systems, then we're never going to create what we call a turnkey business where things can work without us. And the whole theme of the book is about setting you free, building a business that sets you free. So those systems, although they take time, will to set up in the first instance, but will save you countless hours in the future, because you can then make sure that you don't spend time reinventing the wheel every time. And when you bring new people on board, you just teach them the system, and then the system then runs the business. Essentially, that's what a business is, a group of systems that work together to create an outcome of some sort. So let's talk a bit about what I'm going to share today with you from a bit about the book. Now, it might surprise you a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today, but actually this is about controlling our workload and avoiding certain traps that will prevent us from setting up those systems and systemizing the business. So controlling our workload is key, and it's also very important to realize the time we spend on certain things are more important than other things. So if we make sure that we're not just busy, but we're actually spending our time on the right things. So this slide, I've got 3 slides today. I've only shared 1 slide each day this week so far. So today we've got 3 slides. The first one you can see is the workload profile, and these are things to avoid if you're running a business. And it's a bit about mindset, really. Is not going into the blaming mindset or the hero mindset, or as it says there, because that's really about because I've got something that prevents me doing something, and also the trying situation. We all have these. We can allow these things to creep in because it's almost like a victim sort of mentality that we can fall into, because yes, we're working hard and we're doing our best, but that's not how you're going to get the best from your business and those that you're leading. So these are things that really need to be avoided. Avoid blaming anybody else. Avoid being the hero. Avoid those just because things, and also avoid the thing in your head that says, well, I'm trying my hardest. If you're trying your hardest, then maybe you need to then understand that there's other ways that you can get more productive by sharing your workload, which is another thing that's covered in this chapter. So one of the things that we need to understand when running a business, that we need to manage our stress. And there's a difference between stretched and challenged, as it says on this slide. So we do need a little bit of stress. If we are in too much of a comfort zone, then we're probably not working from our utmost or our most productive. So we do need a little bit of stress to give us that bit of energy, a bit of stimulation to do our best and to work through things. But we don't want to allow that to become too big a problem, because if we allow it to get too stressful, we get too much stress, then that becomes a problem. So I think the best way to show you that is on this next slide, where we talk about stress or with regards to rust out and burnout. So if we've got no stress, then we're probably not being very effective, because we do need that stimulus. We need a reason to do something. Sometimes if there's no reason to do it, then we'll probably not do it. And then we get into that sort of bad habits of not really getting anything done. And that's that sort of rust out scenario where there's no challenge in our life, but we do need a certain amount of challenge to rise above things and do things that are outside our comfort zone, and whatever that is for you, then that obviously that's for you to decide. But sometimes you just need to push yourself into something that you've never done before. But what we've got to be aware of, that we don't want to allow that to become a stressful situation where we are constantly stressed, and that becomes that burnout situation that gets us eventually if we don't control it and have a control on the way we spend our time. And the classic thing is, yes, as I mentioned, be about, well, I'm busy and I'm doing lots of things, but the question you must ask yourself is, am I doing what's right for the business, what's right for my role in the business, or am I just being busy for the sake of being busy? So that's that part of what I cover in this chapter, the Systemize chapter in the book, where there's certain elements we got to pay attention to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to either be under stressed so that we're not being productive, or overly stressed where we're just, again, we become unproductive because we just can't really function from that place of stress, overly stressed. So I hope that was been useful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the program, or the show, I should say, the book is available to order from my website. That's thereluctantleader.academy. And you'll see all the details there. And if you use coupon code LIVESHOW, then you will get the book delivered free of charge, delivered free of charge, no delivery charge, I should say. There will be a charge, you have to buy the book, but I will pick up the cost of the delivery for you. And if you have any comments, if you catch this on replay, then please leave a comment. Any questions you have, please get in touch. It would be great to hear from you. and also the previous shows where I covered the 3 steps before Systemize, which is mirror, which is the M, E, which is evaluate, and A, which is action. And you will catch them, and I'll put the links below for you to catch up with those. And if you're watching this and there's no links below, then if you go back through the feed, wherever you're watching this, you should be able to find the previous episodes to join up the dots and get the whole 4 steps to this point, and there'll be 3 more after this to bring you the whole 7 steps model. So I hope that was useful. I will be back again tomorrow with the next step, which is the U, and that is unify, where we are stepping into the 3rd step of the book, or third part of the book, where we are concentrating on the team element. Previous to this, it's been very much about you, and then thinking about your role in the business, secondly. But the 3rd element is the team element, which if you create the right team, you motivate them, understand what they need from you, then you're going to create the business that will set you free, because ultimately that's what a business should do. It should become something that operates without you, and your influence there should be that you are adding value and not being the biggest cog in the machine, as I'd call it. You should be the oil in the machine. So there we are. Thank you for joining us, those that watched live. And if you catch this on the replay, please leave a message, get in touch, any questions. That would be great. So until the next show, I will leave you and have a great day, and see you next time.